Is it possible that Brian Koberger was targeting Maddie? Let's talk about it. Hey everyone, it's Lucky from Unfiltered Lucky. And today I want to talk about another theory. Not my theory, but a theory that I see a lot in the comment section. And that is the theory that Brian Koberger was targeting Maddie. And that he broke into the house to get to Maddie. That Kaylee, Ethan, and Xana were basically victims of unfortunate circumstances and that they were in the wrong place at the wrong time. So the theory goes that Brian Koberger became obsessed with Maddie. And he made advances towards Maddie, tried to talk to Maddie, and she rejected him. So Brian Koberger is rejected, and his ego pushes him to want to harm Maddie and to target Maddie. Which, I mean, it's very possible. Because, you know, a 28-year-old college student becoming obsessed with another college student and trying to get that person's attention and then feeling rejected by that person, that probably happens on college campuses all over the country. So I believe that this theory is possible in that aspect. Definitely possible in that aspect. It makes sense. Now, I'm going to walk through the theory and then I'm going to talk about my questions and kind of why I got away from this theory a while back. Because this is a theory that I looked into and I did a lot of research about this theory, and I ended up getting away from this theory because of these very reasons that I'm gonna tell you. Now, the theory goes that Brian Koberger broke into the house to get to Maddie. He's feeling rejected and he's angry. So he breaks into the house to get to Maddie. Now, one of the questions I would have about that would be, why would he go into a house with 5 cars parked in front of this house and 6 people inside the house? Why choose this time? Because this would be a terrible time to do this. Now, Maddie is probably in one of the safest environments that she could really be in. She's in her bedroom at home on the top level of the house, and she's surrounded by her roommates. So he breaks into the house to get to Maddie and goes straight up the stairs because maybe he knows where Maddie's room is located. Maddie did have some personal decor in the windows of her bedroom, so it's very possible that Brian Koberger could have realized that this was her bedroom from the decor that was in the window. So he goes upstairs and goes into Maddie's room and realizes that it's not just Maddie in this room, it's also Kaylee in this room. So as he's scuffling with Kaylee, he drops the sheath to his knife. Now, he takes Maddie and Kaylee's life But then he's discovered by either Xana or Ethan. So he leaves the knife sheath there on the bed and goes downstairs and takes the life of Ethan and Xana now, because now he's been discovered. So he takes the lives of Ethan and Xana, and then he leaves the house. So he leaves the house at 1122 King Road, and I wanted to bring this up because it's kind of an odd little tidbit that I came across while I was doing some research. And although it has nothing to do with the crime, I think it's very odd. I think it's odd because the Amityville horror crimes also occurred on November 13th. And the address at the house of the Amityville horror crimes is 112. So I just thought that was interesting. It has nothing to do with these crimes, I don't believe, but I thought that was kind of interesting. So that's the theory. And, you know, that Brian Kohberger was targeting Maddie because he had been rejected. So basically he breaks in to get to Maddie, and Kaylee, Ethan, and Xana become indirectly involved. It's a situation where they're just in the wrong place at the wrong time. So one of the aspects of this theory that I would have questions about would be why wouldn't Brian Kohberger pick a better time to get to Maddie? Why would he wait until she was probably in one of the safest areas she could be in, which is in her bedroom at the top level of her house, surrounded by her roommates? Why choose this time? It seems like if he was stalking Maddie and if he was watching her movements, why wouldn't he get to her when she was alone? Possibly after work, when she was getting into her car, or possibly, you know, when she steps away from a party, or why not wait for a time when she's alone? It seems strange to me that he would wait until what would seem to be the worst possible time to try to get to Maddie. Now, the knife sheath, that's something that I'll never be able to wrap my head around. I'll never be able to understand why Brian Kohberger would enter this house with the weapon still in the knife sheath and then walk all the way upstairs to Maddie's bedroom before removing the knife from the sheath. Because he doesn't know who he's going to encounter when he enters this house. So from the time he gets into this house, which they believe it was through the sliding glass door, by the time he gets through that sliding glass door, there's a lot of people in this house. So he doesn't know if somebody's going to pop out from around a corner or pop out of a bedroom. These rooms are on 3 different levels. So it just makes no sense to me that he would still have the knife in the sheath. That just makes no sense to me. It seems like he would be ready as soon as he entered this house. You know, people have said that they don't think that that's really that odd, that, you know, that it seems possible. And I believe it is possible. I believe there's a lot of possibilities in this case. But I just don't. So let's put it this way. Let's talk about if Brian Kohberger was using a different weapon, let's say. Let's say Brian Kohberger was using a weapon that we really can't talk about on here. But you get the idea. And wouldn't it seem strange if he just left it in the holster as he was walking through the house and making his way to the top level, that would seem odd, because it would seem like he would have it out as soon as he got into the house in case there was a surprise. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense to me that you would keep the weapon contained until you got to your destination within this house. I feel like it would be an unnecessary risk for Bryan Kohberger to target Maddie in this environment, because he doesn't know what's in this house. I mean, what if one of the roommates did have one of those weapons that we were just talking about? What if one of the roommates had their own weapon? I feel like it's a very risky move for someone so calculated to walk into a house full of people. As I said before, I looked at this. I looked at all of this. I looked at this theory a while back, and these are the reasons that I got away from this theory. Now, I'm not saying that this theory is not possible, because I believe that there's a lot of possibilities. But what got me away from that theory was the amount of people in the house, the amount of cars parked out front, and the assumption that he's not familiar with this house because he really has no connection to this house. So it's an interesting theory, and it's a possible theory. It would make sense. I don't believe that that's how this happened, because I really do believe that these crimes are exactly what they look like. I don't believe that he was so obsessed with Maddie that he targeted her, and it was so important for him to get to her that evening that he was willing to risk, encountering 5 other people in this house. But it's definitely a possible theory, and that's why I wanted to talk about it today, because it is a possible theory. But those are for those reasons, that's why I stepped away from this theory. But it's definitely a possibility. I really appreciate everybody that comments and put your ideas in the comment section, because it does give me a lot to think about, and it is something that I want to talk about on my channel, because when I made the video about my theory, that's just what I believe. That's how my mind works. So that's kind of how I see things. So it's great to get input from others and hear their side and hear their ideas and hear your ideas. Now, I am currently upgrading my studio and getting things ready, because I really want to start beginning to do lives. And I want to get on here live because I want to be able to communicate with everybody. I want to be able to talk to people, and I want to be able to discuss these crimes. So in the very near future, be looking out for my live streams. I'm going to be doing some lives so that I can actually talk to people and get their ideas and have and kind of discuss, our beliefs and discuss what we believe happened and be able to bounce ideas off one another. So be looking out for that, and be looking out for my next video. I really appreciate everybody who interacts with my page and everybody who likes and subscribes to my channel. I really, really appreciate it. We'll see you next time.